Get in the zone of positivity, not negativity, because we need to strive for longevity. That's what the fuck I'm talking about, Eagles fans. That is what the fuck I'm talking about. Big victory over the Raiders, perfect game, and the fan base, man, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the fan base. A lot of positivity, a lot of people calling out the bullshit media, a lot of people still doubting, a lot of people still hating, a lot of people still waiting to see something else. But I gotta tell you, I'm happy at the number of people who have turned around, who are like, you know what, forget these media personalities dogging our team. We know that Hurts delivers. We know that Sirianni delivers. We know we have the best two wideouts in the game. We know we have Saquon Barkley, and everybody sees this is a top 5 defense. So forget these personalities, man. We know what we have. We know what we have, and we're gonna have ups and downs. And when we're down, we just gotta support our team to bring them back up, because we are one game away from clinching the playoffs. Just one game away. That's it. And we're gonna be back in the postseason. Feels like so long ago we clinched that Super Bowl ring, man. It feels like so long ago, and now we're back. We're back. This season doesn't matter at all. Nothing matters from the past. We're in the postseason. We're one loss and you're out. And we've been here before. We know what to do. With this squad, we know what's going on. We know what's going down. And the thing we have to remind ourselves are there are 2 types of people who report on the Eagles. There are types of people who are just all drama, because this is what gets attention. And these are the people I cannot stand, because they don't give a fuck about the team. They just want your attention. And the way to get your attention is to bring up as much drama as possible. Feed into the drama, dig into the drama. When there's a sniff of any drama, you pour as much fuel on the fire as possible. And then there are the types of people who report on the team, who provide great analysis, are deep in their coverage, who are true Eagles fans, and every once in a while they get caught up in the drama. And sometimes it's justified, and sometimes it's, we're going a little overboard. That's understandable. That's understandable. That's called being a fan. But we have to wake up to those out there who don't care about our team. You know, the people who just wait for a loss to dive in on Hurts and start like questioning if there should be a quarterback change or benching him. Like, those are the people you need to watch out for. The people who, you know, can't give Sirianni his flowers at this point, where the national broadcast said in the game he's 3rd all-time in wins. When you look at head coaches, all the head coaches in the history of the NFL, you look at their first 5 years, he's 3rd all-time in wins. And we still have media personalities that don't want to call him a good head coach. So look out for these people, man. They're not our friends. They're not our fellow fans. There are people that like to make money off of this fan base, because there's a lot of money, because we like to consume this content as much as possible, and there's money in that. So you got to watch out for those people, because it's a business. It's a business. And to us, this is life. This is life. Jalen Hurts said it in his press conference. A great press conference. He said, you guys are watching. I live this. I live this. And that's how I feel as an Eagles fan. I live this. Those spectators, those journalists, those fucking personalities, they are just watching to spectate, to keep records, to build their own businesses and their own names. But this is my life. And I know a lot of Eagles fans feel the same way. So let's get into the Raiders game. And the biggest reason for our success, offense looked great. Offense looked spectacular. But the biggest reason for our success, in my opinion, and I'm not alone in this, that defense, bro. That defense, giving up only 75 yards. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 75 yards. 75 yards. We went over it last week's episode. This is an offense that can put up some numbers. The record's horrible, but we looked at some of the games, you know, that I mean, Geno Smith wasn't in there, but you looked at that first game of the season where they put up over 340 yards on the Patriots. You look at the Bears game when they ran it for over 200 yards. So it's like this offense can put up some yards, and just stopping them to 75 yards that's God, that's good. Defense is looking. I've been hard on Fangio this season because, I mean, people haven't been looking into much of our flaws on defense because the defense has been playing much better than the offense. The offense has been getting all the criticism, all the attention. And I've been like, hey, some of these numbers on our defense aren't spectacular. I don't think this is what's killing us, but man, if we could fix some of this stuff, we'd be unstoppable. And I got to give it up to Fangio this week. I have no criticism. I have no criticism. Another person we got to give it up to is Patullo. The highlights this week were really fun to watch. The offensive highlights. It's a sign that he wasn't being creative in the past, because some of our offensive highlights were a drag to watch. And this week they were so fun. I watched them back to back, watched them one after the other, watched the highlights, stopped it, brought it back to the start of the video, and watched it again. That's how fucking entertaining they were this week. I mean, the amount of improvement isn't as fast as we'd like to see as Eagles fans, because we were hungry for that Super Bowl, but you cannot deny that there's been an improvement when it comes to play calling. And now I know Sirianni has been rumored to be stepping in a little bit, and there's been some talk about, just more help in that area from the coaching staff. But whatever they're doing, it's working. And you can't just trash Patullo. You can't forget that he's a part of this. So you got to give everybody involved credit. They're all doing a great job. And I absolutely love how many people have been like, Jalen Hurts is back. Jalen Hurts is back. Where did he go? He never went anywhere. He was putting up incredible numbers before he had that 2-3 game stretch where he was turning the ball over a ton. But I mean, like I said, he was putting up incredible numbers all season. Ever since Jalen Hurts has been here, he's delivered every single year. He's been there every year at the biggest moments too. So he never went anywhere. He's not back. He's always been here. He never left. I'll tell you someone who is back though is Brandon Graham, BG. And he might be a little mad at me because when he first rejoined the team and they showed the videos of him working out in training camp, I was like, man, I love BG. And I do. I love BG more than anything. That 2017 Super Bowl strip sack was one of the best, maybe the best Eagles play of all time. I love BG. But when he came back and was doing his little runs, he looked a little bit out of shape. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not anyone to be judging athletes, but I've seen BG throughout his entire career. I know when he looks a little out of shape. Dude looked a little out of shape. And I was right. It took him a little bit of time to get back. And now he looks phenomenal. Now he looks like he's in crazy shape in the perfect amount of time to get ready for the playoffs, baby. So now these teams got to watch out for Brandon Graham coming back in there, full health, rested, ready to roll. BG looks great. BG looks great. And I think he's great for the energy of the team, because the locker room the past few weeks has been sounding wild, crazy. Even when they were losing, locker room sounded good. It sounded fun. I think he brings just a great spirit to the team. I think about him like being in the locker room and his personality and what that must do to like a lot of the young dudes if they're struggling with anything in the game, if they're having a hard time, if they might have a hard press conference and he could give them some tips on dealing with the press, whatever. I'll tell you someone who knows a lot about dealing with the press and gave everybody the perfect solution on how to deal with them in the future. Not on our team, someone who I've always hated, but I saw this video, I was like, oh my God. Kirk Cousins, man. I know a lot of people have seen that fucking clip of a reporter asking him a question. He just gives straight up football analysis for like a minute. And I think that's the way to shut reporters up. They give you something, they hit you with a question, even if it's a personal question, just straight football analysis. Just throw numbers at them. Just describe plays in a way that they can't really get into a conversation with, because these reporters don't know about the fucking game like the players do. So just hit them with that. Describe the plays. Describe what you're seeing in the field, like really in depth. And I think it'll shut the reporters up every time. One press conference that I really loved, Jordan Davis, and he's been balling out. Jordan Davis has been balling out. And I loved his mindset in the press conference. He had a quote. He was like, "You don't need a C on your chest to be a captain." And man, I love that shit. Love that. Feeding the young energies from the young guys. These Georgia defensive players are no joke. They have been there since we've drafted them. They've been showing up. And another example of that, Nakobe Dean. Everybody doubted it when we drafted him. People were like, "I don't know, he's injured." And then took a little time to get ready and wasn't quite what people expected when he first got here, but he kept trending up. Last year, balled out at the end of the year, and now he's back from his injury, playing like a fucking Pro Bowler. Let me read you off some of these stats in his last 9 games since he's been back. 7 tackles for losses. What? 6 QB hits, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 53 combined sacks. That's solo sacks and assisted sacks. It hurts to see Campbell in like a backup role because you know he could be a starter, and this is like a pivotal time for him to get better and get some experience, and he is getting on the field and making some plays, but you know, I liked him in that linebacker role, but man, Nakobe Dean is just too good. You can't keep him off the field. On top of all this, he's running our defense. I mean, he is killing it, and he should have more sacks because in that Chargers game, he muffed like 2. He had like 2 more sacks he could have gotten in that game. He hit the quarterback, and Herbert was able to be elusive and get out of that. Now let's go through the checklist of things I said the team needed to fix last week in order to be successful. The biggest thing I said last week that we needed to focus on, 3rd down conversions. I said this was the biggest thing we needed to fix. If we fix this, we'll be in good shape. 3rd down conversions, 10 for 13. I love it, man. I love it. We keyed in. Shows the team's listening. Another big one said we're not using our backups nearly enough. Tank Bigsby, 17 carries, baby. And I know those numbers are inflated a little bit because they took Saquon out, but still, using Tank is fucking huge. It really helps our running game. Saquon was still able to rattle off 73 and didn't play the whole game. We also, probably the second biggest thing we needed to fix, we're not running as many plays as these other teams. They're running way more plays than us on a weekly basis. But in this game, 66 plays we ran to the Raiders 42. Huge. 11 yards per attempt with Jalen. That's how I said we're going to fix these 3rd down conversions. We need Jalen throwing the ball downfield a little more. You can see on the tape on these 3rd downs, we're throwing it way too short. 11 yards per attempt, slinging it. Good things happen. 0 turnovers. Only 3 penalties. And this shows that the team, Sirianni said he was going to evaluate the team. That's what he did. That's what this shows. Because I evaluated the team, and I came up with all these areas where we're hurting. And I said, hey, we need to focus here. These things aren't the biggest deal in the world. We just need to fix these things, and the team will look a lot better. It looks like Sirianni's looking at a lot of these similar things. 3rd downs, plays being run, backup running backs being used, creativity on the offense, among other things. But these are the huge ones. And he is looking, the offensive staff is looking at this stuff, obviously, and they're saying we need to fix it. And they're fixing it, and we look so much better. It was just a fucking great game all around, just perfect. Like I said, I know it's the Raiders, but sometimes in football, you need to beat up on the bad teams in order to show you how good of a team you are and to fix some of the problems you've been dealing with. When you're playing really good teams, it could get in the way of you working on some of your problems because you just need to win at all costs. Another thing I wanted to make note of during the game is, remember Raheem Mostert? Everybody remember him? He got in there for a little catch for the Raiders, a little 2-yard reception. Remember when we let him go and he went to the 49ers? Everyone was like, oh my God, that was like the biggest mistake ever. He just like kind of quietly fizzled out. He had a nice little 2-yard reception though. I mean, he's old, he's towards the end of his career, but it's just funny to see that, like, Raheem, that's fucking crazy. The other thing, I wonder if anybody else caught the Greg Olsen, who he gets on my nerves a lot as a sports announcer. Like, some of the stuff he says, I'm like, what on earth is he talking about? But you have to remember how dominant of a player he was. He really was dominant, and he knows the game. So, sometimes, a lot of times I don't agree with him, but sometimes he gives some analysis and you're like, you have to listen to what this dude is saying. He knows the sport better than us, better than me, understand. But he had a claim that the Raiders should trade Max Crosby in order to get draft capital and or get other players back. I don't know. You probably get a couple for 2-3 first-round picks for him. But do you not remember that this was the philosophy the Raiders had with Khalil Mack years ago that brought them to this point where they are now? That's why they are here. The Raiders were a great team, a great organization. And they had this philosophy, let's get rid of Khalil Mack, our best player, and we'll get all these picks back from him. And with that, we'll build ourselves into a super team. The problem is there's no guarantee you're going to hit on those picks. The Raiders missed on so many of those picks. And so when you have a great player like a Max Crosby, like a Micah Parsons, you hold on to them. You don't trade them unless they're just like, I don't want to be here at all. I will not play. I'm sitting out, trade me. That's the only time you trade a player like that. So Greg Olsen saying trade Max Crosby, if there are any Raiders fans watching this, do not do that. Do not do that. Use the high draft pick you're going to get this year. Try and get the best player possible and add more great players to what you have. You have a Max Crosby. You put one of the top cornerbacks in the league on that defense with him. I mean, now you're starting to build a scary defense. That's a start. That's a start to a good team. You don't just trade a Mac. Come on, sometimes. As we take a quick look to the Commanders, they have Marcus Mariota starting, and I feel very confident that we should win this game. Some things we can't overlook, though, is they were great last week in on defense, holding the Giants to only 2 for 12 on third down conversions. This is an area where we've been struggling, so it'll be good to go up against them there. And they also do a pretty good job running the ball. They're a top 10 rushing unit in the offense, so that's where they thrive, running the ball, stopping teams on third down. We don't want to let this team control the game, control the tempo by just, running, keeping our offense off the field by stopping us on third down, running. That is going to be their recipe, I'd imagine, and we have to watch out for that. They are capable of, getting into some big games. A few weeks ago against Denver, that was a pretty good game. They're capable of throwing the ball a little bit, making some big plays here and there. So I feel very confident that we should beat this team, but they do have some strength. Last week they gave up another 70 yards to the tight end, so it might be Dallas Goedert's week again. Just feed him the ball, get him over the middle. They're not going to be expecting him over the middle. Get Dallas Goedert over the middle, get him a couple more touchdowns. I think that's going to be the recipe for beating the Commanders. And one last thing I wanted to note about the Eagles' offense is, we have our struggles. They've been obvious and notable, and anyone who watches this team religiously can see. But at the same time, you look at A.J. Brown, I think he's got around 840 receiving yards. I think Devontae Smith has around 890. And Saquon has like 940, I think. So all three of those guys look like they're gonna crack 1,000 yards. That's pretty big. And I think Devontae Smith is, I wanna say 6th in touchdowns. And I think A.J. Brown is top 10 as well. So A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both top 10 in touchdowns. So while our offense hasn't, been the best, we're not struggling as much as people might want to make you think. So could we be doing better? Yeah, of course. Saquon's not going to get 2,000 yards. A.J. Brown and Devontae are capable of a lot more. But at the same time, having 2 receivers go for 1,000 yards, having your running back go for 1,000 yards as well, it's a big deal. Our offense isn't as bad as people making it seem. One last quick question before we end here. Did we break the Chiefs? Is it official? People are calling Patrick Mahomes bloated, saying he's no GOAT. People are calling for Jason Kelce to retire. They're not going to make the playoffs? Did we break them? They certainly haven't been the same since we spanked that ass. I don't know. We'll see next year, Chiefs fans. Now, I know I've been the one talking about let's lower the hatred, stop being so negative. I wasn't talking about other teams. I still have the hatred for other teams. I'm talking about for our squad. The hatred for other teams is fully pumping. I mean, it's about to be playoffs. That hatred is real, and it's stronger than ever. One team I hate, even though Jaden Daniels is out. And I liked Jaden Daniels when he first got in the league. He was good, and he was flashing. I was like, whoa, Commanders got something here. But then all the national coverage and praise he got, and all the hate that Jalen Hurts got made me go, and playing them last year and their fans getting out of control, it just made me develop this new hatred for the Commanders where I hate this team way more than the Cowboys or the Giants. I cannot stand this team. So I don't care that Jaden Daniels is out. I hate this team and I want to destroy this team this week. I really do. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to the place where I was the last time we played the Commanders and last time we destroyed them. Going back to the garage, Culver City, baby, where Eagles fans take over. It's a beautiful scene. If I knew more about live streaming, I might try and live stream it. I might try and mess around with it, but I don't know. I'm a little worried about like copywriting stuff. That's the main reason I don't want to do it. I'm afraid like the volume of like the game is gonna be up and like they're gonna get mad at me, and I just don't need to deal with that. I don't want my YouTube channel getting shut down. I don't get a lot of views, but like I need this to grow into something. I'm broke, as you can see. So I'm going back there, same place I was when I watched the Eagles defeat the Commanders, same place I was when I saw us win the Super Bowl. Best night of my life. Best night of my life. Last year's Super Bowl, for me, it was better than 2017. And if we could pull this off again this year, I think this will be even better. So let's go, Birds. Let's do it. It's the time of the year that matters. Nothing before this matters. Clinch the playoffs, clinch the division, and then once we start playing in that postseason, it's a whole new game. Before I get out of here, I just want to say, whoever's watching out there, I fucking appreciate you so much. I've been trying to create Eagles content for the past couple of years, and no one's been watching. And finally, there haven't been a ton of people watching, but some people are finally watching. And I appreciate it so much. Whether you love it or you hate it, I don't care. I just love that people have anything to say or are watching for any amount of time. I appreciate it so, so much. So EAGLES, let's go, baby. Let's not fuck around. Let's clinch the playoffs against the Commanders this week. Let's do it right. Let's keep the positivity going. And I love what I'm seeing from Eagles fans. Just keep it rolling, baby. This is the time of the year we live for. This is it. This is it. This is my life right here. Let's fucking do it.